Newcomb, and I am the CEO and founder of Autism Academy for Education and Development.
My name is Kaylana Newcomb, and I am the Director of Related Services here for A+ and Autism Academy.
I'm Shannon Mitchell, and I'm the Executive Director of Autism Academy.
Jenny Durant, and I'm the Operations Director.
Graham Newcomb, I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing.
So from the beginning, the dream, the passion was shared by many people. It's more than just me. It takes a whole team of people. And as we've gone through the years, it's gained momentum. And people want to share that passion and that vision for the future. This honestly is bigger than me. Been asked to answer some questions for a magazine that's featuring us in an article.
Cool.
And so just talking about how we got started and some of the obstacles we had along the way.
Okay.
So with that, I'll start on how we got started. So I was contracting special ed services to charter schools and realized there was a need for kids with autism, a program. And so we went out to view different programs and realized there were none that covered the whole spectrum and that were only autism specific. So with that being said, in 2013 we launched the first school, and we brought Shannon on board, and Ginny was already on board, and then of course the family. And at that point in time we started with 22 students, and then it just took a life of its own after that.
It did take a life of its own. A lot of paperwork. Mm-hmm. Doing like those first open houses with half of the hallway blocked off.
Right.
Because we had like 2 or 3 model classrooms open. Because there wasn't at the time a lot of schools. And there was no schools that was just autism at all.
Because in the second year we got the second location, Tempe, and we decided to do the junior high school.
Yes.
Part of what Laura had to do for the contracting business was go around and look at programs and see what would be appropriate for students that were on her caseload. And so, yeah, just going around and seeing the different programs out there, it was like, we kind of started talking like, if we were to do something like this, what would it look like? And boy, real quick it turned from that to, guess what we're doing?
I remember back before we even had a building, I first met Shannon at a Starbucks in Scottsdale for my interview, and now it's pretty exciting. We're both pregnant. After meeting Shannon, then I set up a meeting with Laura at the coffee shop in Gilbert. We didn't have a building or anything yet, but I was the second teacher hired, so that was pretty exciting, and now look where we are.
So our first day of school, we started with about 20 students, 9 staff members. One thing I remember is just the family feel of that first day of school. The excitement was there, and honestly, it was the start of something.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Hernandez, and I'm a teacher here at Autism Academy, and this is my 5th school year here because I got to feel like, the kids and the need of the school, and just like what Laura and her family was about. The first day I met Laura, I kind of knew it was a good fit because when I walked into the entryway there, her husband was mopping and her daughter was sweeping, and Laura was dusting everything, and you kind of all knew that they were related. And I said, what's going on? And she's like, oh, we're getting ready for open house. And I thought, oh my gosh, the family's all doing it. So when I first started 5 years ago, the school had only been open about a year. Everything was fairly new. The majority of the younger students that I worked with were at the Gilbert campus. I think there was only 4 classrooms at the time. When I started, I really loved the feel for it, but it was interesting because one of the philosophies and one of Don's main priorities was kids first, and the school changed quite a bit that
One
first.
of the questions I actually had for them was, if I were to go from campus to campus, and I have my camera and my recorder's pad, when nobody's looking, how would these kids be treated? Would they be treated with the same level of dignity that they would be treated publicly? And going from campus to campus, that's what I've seen. I've seen kids inspired, educated, loved, appreciated, valued, and treated with a level of dignity. And that's what I believe that the Autism Academy means when they say kids first. And I truly see kids being treated with that kids first philosophy from campus to campus every time I go to any school. So that's why I love the Autism Academy, because they put kids first. And working with these kids here at the Autism Academy, raising awareness, supporting their causes, is probably one of the most fulfilling things I've done in my life. And so I have a passion about working with these kids here at the Autism Academy. I love it, I love the kids, and I love the positivity and the energy that's brought about by all the staff working together and all the teamwork. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Autism Academy go nationwide, which I'm confident they will.
Newcomb, and when we first started Autism Academy, I was 18 years old and I was a freshman in college, and I had my mom come to me, Laura Newcomb, and tell me that she had this idea, this dream and this vision, and it came out of left field for me. I was like, what are we doing? I thought you were now being a special ed director. And she's like, no, we are gonna open schools and we're gonna help all of these kids. And my dad was just as gung-ho about the idea. He was so excited. So my dad, Donald Newcomb, he was always the dad. He was there for every game. If you were sick, he would be the one to come pick you up, take us to our doctor's appointments, be there for everything. He'd never miss a game. And so that translated amazingly when we opened the school, because that's exactly what he was. He was there for anyone who needed anything. He filled in where needed. There was no job too small, too big for him. He would just say, how can I help? So he did everything from cleaning the building the first year. He completely cleaned it top to bottom. He took so much passion into that. And then he was a para for a half a semester. He was in there with the kids. He taught them, because we had trouble filling that position and they really wanted someone who cared and who could learn. And so he was in there. There was no job too small and there was no challenge too great. He always took it back to kids first, and kids first came directly out of his mouth when we made it. He made the building blocks and everything like that. So he really was the heart and soul of Autism Academy.
Here in the West Valley, as with all of our campuses, we put kids first.
I'm Leslie Huffman, and I'm a teacher at Autism Academy, A+ Academy. And I also have a child who has autism. So as a parent and a teacher, one of the most important things that I always ask myself is, how can I make my child successful? And teaching our kids life skills, teaching them how to attend to a task and to see it through to completion. These are things that are important that our children need to learn, so that this can carry over into the workforce, so that they're ready to be global citizens, so that they can interact with everybody in their community, hold down a job so that they can be successful to the best of their ability. When I was offered the position as a paraeducator, at the time, Laura Newcomb, who is the director owner of Autism Academy, asked me, and I told her, I said, no, I said, I don't think I would be good at that job. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. And she says, no, she says, I think you'd be really good at it. She says, why don't you just think about it? She goes, don't tell me no. She said, just think about it. She goes, I'll provide you with all the training you need. And I thought, oh, that's nice. Went home and talked to my husband about it, and he encouraged me to take the job, and I talked to her the next day again, and I told her no. I said, I really like volunteering. I just don't think I'm going to be any good at that.
Because she was a strong parent to her child that had autism. Because the thing of it is that my supervisors wanted him kicked out of the school, and I said, as long as this parent will show up when I call them and will support, and they're invested in their own student's life, I'll work with the student. And so, because every time I called Leslie, she would come, I saw in her that she was a strong advocate for her own child.
She sees something in you that you don't see in yourself. And that advice changed my life. I don't want to do anything else. I love my job. And it inspired me to go back to school and earn my degree so that I could keep doing this.
So when my mom came up with this vision for Autism Academy, we did not know how far it would go, but all she knew is she needed a good, well-assembled team to be able to do it. So really the initial team that started Autism Academy consisted of Shannon and my mom, Laura Newcomb. Shannon was pretty much the one person on that team that was able to kind of see the vision, see what we were working with, and know where we wanted to be, and was able to help contribute and help us get there.
So the concept for Autism Academy, of course, it's the autism is in the name, was really to build a place and a school and a community that they could specifically learn and grow in. So in a typical public school setting, what usually happens is all disabilities get thrown into one classroom or broken up into a couple of classrooms, and the teachers are supposed to meet all the learning needs of all of the different disabilities. Research shows you that students with autism learn differently. While there are similarities in what you can utilize, autism students, it's a social and communication disorder, and you really need to make a building, a classroom, and a structure around their specific needs. And so taking out students with autism, because of the growing population and the growing diagnosis, was essential for these students in our population and in the general public being successful. The vision of the Autism Academy has always been kids first and helping the most students as possible with autism in the community grow.
My name is Cheryl Maltese, and I've been here with A+ Academy for 5 years, since we started in Tempe. I was hired on as a para, and I had been doing para work for quite a few years. And after being here for a while, I really felt, led and wanting to expand my own education and my job duties and become a classroom teacher. And that's what I'm doing right now.
I remember talking to Laura Newcomb when she told me that she was wanting to start Autism Academy, and she told me, she says, Leslie, she says, these kids need some program specific for them that is going to teach them the way they need to learn. Someplace safe, someplace where they're nurtured, where they're loved, where they can learn social skills and life skills and academics. She said we have to be able to give them everything. I told her, I said, yeah, I agree. I said, and I'm gonna work there someday.
In the beginning, when we started with 4 classrooms, they were all very structured and very visual, but they weren't necessarily as similar as we wanted or intended them to be. So as we've developed over the course of now year 6, all of the classrooms really have the same structure and breadth and life, depending on the age of the students, of course. And they really look similar across campuses, which was always Laura and Dawn's goal, is to make sure it was one cohesive program. And as we've developed and grown, it really has become just that.
Maya Angelou said it best once. She said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Even for those of us that weren't here from the beginning, it's still been an amazing journey. When I first came on board at the Autism Academy, it was initially to write the blogs and to make those blogs more specific towards the events and activities that were actually going on from campus to campus at AAED. Since that time, I've started doing video vlogs. We also published our first book, which is available at Amazon.com, and it's entitled Pieces of Peace. We're very proud of that. We also started doing our own in-house press releases, which has afforded us a lot more opportunities on social media as well as in the multimedia. We started our own YouTube channel, which is called Autism TV, and we are currently in the production for our own online virtual tours, which will allow parents to go online, go room by room, class by class, and see what the Autism Academy is all about. And what we know you'll see is that we are kids first.
It's been a journey of providing community to these families who felt like they were maybe alone in this journey of having a student or a child with autism before. You see them connecting at parent pickup, you see them connecting at the social events we have. So it's just been an emotional journey for me, because it touches my heart so much that these kids are just getting what they need and what they should be getting elsewhere but haven't been able to, so we can provide that here for them.
there was definitely challenges, but we've worked through them, and I think we've perfected our programming, and we continue to grow because of it. So it's been an exciting journey.
Talks to a lot of other businesses and other business professionals to get advice through, just other people have done it before within schools or with lawyers, to make sure that we're doing things the right way. And that's what Autism Academy does. We don't cut corners, and we do things by the book, and everything is very transparent.
They see their kids coming home, working the microwave, opening their own packages, getting dressed themselves. They see everything they start doing independently at home that they've never done before, and it finally starts clicking for the parents. And I love when I get those notes saying, they're doing this and they're doing that. I mean, that's kind of one of the coolest things ever.
So a big thing that brings a smile to my face is when kids come up to me and have conversations with me about stories about their old school and now, and they can't stop talking about it. They love telling me how now they have friends. No, it's just cool to look at like old memories. This is actually our first show.
So the one thing here that parents especially are happy about is that their kids are finally making friends. They're finally being invited to social functions. They're also being invited to birthday parties for the first time in years. These are all amazing things that they see socially that are happening here, in addition to the academics and the behavioral improvements that they're seeing. We're changing lives for the families.
It was so hard, and I felt like I was failing. And I talked to Miss Newcomb, and I said, I just don't feel like I'm doing right by these kids. And she told me, she said, you have to find their strength. She said, figure out what they're really good at. And she said, then use that strength so that they can excel in other areas. And I thought, oh, I can do that.
Putting kids first is not just our mission, it's our passion. We actually enjoy doing this. It's humbling to be part of an experience where we can see we're changing lives daily.
I'll call her Laura in situations more involving parents and day-to-day more professional tasks, and then I'll call her Mom around people that know our relationship and stuff. She was a teacher, principal, special ed director, and then what it came down to is we had a particular student at a school she was working at, and they did not have the services to be able to help that student. So in that situation, you look for a private placement first, and what's unique about our program is we don't want just academic kids with autism. We don't want low-functioning kids with autism. We want everyone. We can help everyone. We have skilled people in every field. We are passionate about making sure that every child with autism can reach their full potential, whatever that may look like, because it does look different for every person. And so it's important for us not to just specialize in one particular grouping of students, but to really go across the board, because not one certain branch of this population deserves to be not challenged and not accepted and not driven further than what we know they can be.
Mission and vision is evolving and getting more detailed and just expanding, because when we started we were much smaller and had a lot of an academic focus, and now besides the academic focus we really are developing a strong vocational and life skills focus. We're expanding out into the community. We have classes going out to a gym to clean and going to not your typical deli to prepare food. We're doing a lot more activities out in the community, and we also are getting relationships with other businesses and doing things for them here on campus, like packing dental bags. And the students are also running different businesses, selling popcorn throughout the school and selling coffee. So we're really expanding those experiences for the students and giving them real work experience.
I have been at the Tempe campus 4 out of the 5 years that it has been here. And when I first got here, they had an Explorer, more so like a club where the kids got to go and just kind of do fun activities. They had like a cooking class, board games, Legos, just things where they could go and socialize. with each other. And over the years, we've kind of built this program that's more skill related. It's more structured. They're actually learning and doing hands-on things and taking something out of the class. So for example, this year, we have space exploration, we have a cooking class, but the kids are also learning nutrition now. So we've kind of evolved. Every year the kids are getting more and more out of those classes. So I would like to consider it more of a program now that we've evolved, whereas before it was just kind of a fun club that the kids got to go to.
My name is Anthony Thigpen, and I work with the Marketing and Public Relations Department of the Autism Academy. I've been here for about 2.5 years now, and I'm so excited about everything that I see and get an opportunity to experience. The school is constantly growing. I've had the opportunity myself to watch it grow from 115 employees to almost 200, from about 220 students to 400. Our Gilbert location relocated to a larger facility in Chandler. Our Peoria location relocated to a more innovative and larger facility in Phoenix. And our Tempe location opened a second building at its campus. Next year, 2019, we'll be opening a new campus in Tucson, and we're just excited about everything that's going on here at the Autism Academy.
I started my first year at the Gilbert campus teaching middle school. The second year I was at the Tempe campus teaching high school. It's exciting to see how far we've come with the high school at Tempe. We have multiple teachers teaching different subjects. The students have schedules, they switch classes, and they have a lot of exciting electives now.
So a lot of times people ask, what is it that you do that helps families at home become better, grow together, and become healthier? And what I say to families is that once a student is really calm, confident, there's structure in place, and they're not stressed out with going to school every single day to have a miserable experience, they're able to go home and have that cross over into their life with their family because they're calmer, they're happier, and then they can be just like that with their family and do and try new experiences together.
I love my job. Love everything about my job. Love it.
What is the school day like at your private school for kids with autism?
We have an Explorer program here where students are engaged socially. They have the chance to explore new skills, get outside of their comfort zone, and just explore new things and make friends, work on cooperative learning, work on work-related skills, life skills, things like that. We have fabulous OT services and speech and language services that the students...
That's a massive part of our programming, and it's a huge part of our vision and as well as our journey as headed towards the future.
We have a robotics class that we've had for a few years, and it has evolved as well. We started out with just different coding websites on the computer that the kids did. They loved it. Every year we've added a different component. This year we have the microbits that the kids get to program and code, and there's a whole program online that we've purchased and the kids get to do every week, and it's one of their favorite things.
Hi, I'm Lori Crabtree. I work at the Autism Academy. These are the dogs that we use in our dog services program there at this school. I've been raising animals all my life. I've had many different animals over the years. I've raised guide dogs for the blind with Guide Dogs of the Desert for well over 10 years. We've had several graduate. I've been training and raising dogs for many years, animals. So when we developed the dog program, it really made sense. It was something that really worked for me, that made me happy to be able to be with the dogs and with the students.
The admin office at Autism Academy, we have about 7 people who are based out of this office, and there's a number of things that's run out of this location. All of the business operations, business procedures, budgeting, marketing, HR, payroll, taxes, strategic planning, just basically everything that a business needs to stay up to date on to keep compliant. We've capitalized on our strategy of putting kids first. As a result, we've helped numerous families, we've gained extraordinary employees, and we've secured the support of community members, individuals, and funding sources who've invested in our schools. I've been with AAED since its inception, and it's been an amazing journey. We have a full-time funding specialist here at the admin office, and her job is to assist parents in finding scholarships and applying for them, and she basically walks them through the process, making sure that their student can attend a school of their choice with little or no out-of-pocket cost.
I also do human resources. In human resources, we're looking for those that are passionate about kids, that want to work with this population. It takes a very special person to be on campus and have the drive and the love that these students need and that we're looking for.
The breath and the life that they put into this building is amazing. The interaction and with staff and the interaction with the materials makes them have a fun educational day. And that's what it's all about, because if they're having fun, they're learning and they're interacting and they're growing both academically and socially. And it's very simple. It's a typical school day. It looks like any other school, and if you walked in, you might not even know that all of our kids have autism. They come in, they work together, they sit down, they start their day with an activity, they do math, reading, science, they've got special classes, PE, art. They interact with each other, have lunch, socialize, and really learn and grow together on this campus with more visuals, more support, and individualized instruction. When I think back to the beginning and when we were developing the program, we really had to go out and choose curriculums that would be best for students with autism. So we did a lot of research and found out kind of that we needed different options for different levels of students. So we have a lot of different options for our kids and for our teachers to test students to make sure that their education is the best. From our students with life skills using our unique curriculum to students in high school getting credits and graduating to be able to go on to a trade school, university. So we have a lot of options, and it's grown over the course of the 6 years. We've added more as we've gained more students and had the entire spectrum represented at all of our schools. So it's been really cool to work together with our mentors and our coaches and the administrative team to make sure that our students in the curriculum is what they need to have the best success. So it's really kind of cool sitting around and looking at our classrooms and how much they've evolved and grown and what we've been able to add to the classrooms.
With the increase of autism diagnosis within students, it's really important that families have a quality program to choose from. We work and strive to continue to grow and develop our programs to best meet the needs of students and families. See education as an opportunity to integrate disciplines, to integrate workforce development, to create these opportunities for students to run micro businesses and develop the soft skills needed to be successful after high school while also learning the academics. But we can marry all that and blend it and create an exciting environment for students. And so that's what makes me excited about Autism Academy is the opportunities to continue to grow and develop those programs and best support our students. Each day, we make our decisions and our choices through the lens of kids first, and that's the most important thing we can do every day.
The unexpected will happen. You just have to be ready to deal with it.
A big obstacle, a big challenge that my family has seen over the years is probably the loss of my dad. Things kind of changed in a way because he handled a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with new buildings and different things like that. So a lot was put on Dolores' plate, and everyone here kind of stepped up and helped, with that void of losing him. But it was also tough mentally and physically for our family. So that was probably a big challenge that we've overcome over the last couple of years. He wanted to create a culture here to where he puts kids first and to where they're respected and that we're educating these kids the best way possible. Who he was he put others before himself.
I agree. I would probably have to say the word that comes to mind talking about him would be a servant leader. Yeah. He led by example. He led by people would respect him, not because he'd just come in and want to be respected. He would clean the floors if they needed to be cleaned. He'd mop up. He would fill in for staff if they were sick. He'd go in classrooms. He'd run small groups. There was no job too small or too big. He would just step in where needed, and that gained him such tremendous respect and so much. He left such an impression on so many people.
If I had to describe him, would be as the person that kind of anchored me, the person that I would process things with, talk over things. Of course, we talked as a team, but he was the one that would really, he could see a different perspective and give that different perspective, and it really brought a whole different element to the building of the businesses.
Kids always come first, and it always should be that way the minute they walk in the door to the minute they leave and get in their car. So after the first year that I was here, there were people who were in charge of running things, and they were the people that I had, had to speak to about anything that was happening at school. I didn't quite believe that they believed in Laura's philosophy. I didn't, and it was a really, really ugly time. I finally had enough, and I didn't like the ugly side that was coming out of me because I'm not that way, especially at work and especially around kids. And I had to sit and talk to Laura, and I met her for coffee, and I said to her, this is not your philosophy. This is not what you said to me. They're not doing it the way you want it done. And she had kind of an inclination, because at that point, I think she needed somebody to speak up and say what I said to her, because at that point, it kind of like, it made sense to her that someone else from the inside that was watching everything every day unfold, was giving her like the honest truth. And it was really, really hard because it was the ugly truth. But after that, everything changed, and here we are.
Of course, every journey has its bumps in the road. So I would say, in my opinion, that one of the bumps we've kind of run into here at the Tempe campus, where we do middle school and high school, is keeping a director at our campus. We've gone through a few of them over the years, and I think it just comes down to the fact that you've got to find the person who's a great fit, to be a great fit at the school and to love it. You just have to love these kids. Like, you have to have a deep passion for these kids. You have to accept them for who they are. You have to understand where they came from, and you have to understand the journey that they're on. So that's been our biggest challenge, but we do not miss a beat. Our administrative team takes our new directors and leaders under their wing every year. We show them the ropes, they show them the ropes, and it is just amazing to see.
Another one of our challenges here is space. We run out of space because we are growing so quickly.
One discouraging thing that I find at AAED is just the fact that this school isn't provided everywhere. Kids need this type of service educationally in their life to thrive, to become adults in the community that are successful, where they can make friends, where they can feel a part of something. And this program that we offer them is just not everywhere, and it should be.
There's a big nationwide need for schools like Autism Academy, and we just need to expand slow so that we do it right, and that is exactly what we're doing.
So what area of town we're going to next, what would be that's been both. I don't even want to say it's been an obstacle. There's been obstacles associated with it. There's been challenges. Sure. But it's always promoted a lot of really good conversation as to where we're going to grow next.
Another obstacle would be probably the flood, though. Oh. When was that? That was.
Oh, I remember when that was. And so one of our teachers, Miss Jacobs, was there and found it. And so it was early in the morning, because she gets there super early. My phone goes off, and it's her, and so I answer it. And she tells me what happened, and I'm like, how bad is it? What do you mean we had some water damage? And so I'm like, just send me a picture. And instead of a picture, she sent me a video.
Seeing how efficient and effective we can be when we mobilize, all for a common goal, and how quickly we're able to turn a very negative situation around.
Being in the West Valley, away from our district office, can be considered difficult by some. But for us, the challenge has been okay. We work diligently with the people who are at our district office, Miss Laura Newcomb and Miss Shannon Mitchell, along with Miss Jenny Durant and the others there, and they support us. They undergird us and give us all the support that we need in order for our school to be successful. The transition this year was huge. We moved from one location to another, and it was a phenomenal move. However, we were able to really build on that and make it great. Moving to Tucson will be a big undertaking. But with the support that we have and the great people that we work with and all of the ongoing help that we're able to receive, it makes it feel easy.
When we examine our school, our programs, our staff, and our curriculum, we use the SWOT method, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, to best define our strategy moving forward. The beginning was financial challenges. So Don and I had cashed in things that we had saved, and then we also had taken on an investor. But even with that, there were financial challenges, because as you're growing and you want your program to look a certain way, you want to make sure that the staffing is correct for that, and not always does the funding catch up with that. So I would say financial challenges in the beginning was a very realistic issue and obstacle, and we overcame that. A lot of prayer, and but also just having to really do careful budgeting and just really determining what we need and what we want. So I'm glad to say now we've kind of overcome those challenges and are on a good road.
It's definitely a positive journey, and those are the challenges, but it's always positive because you're really trying things. Some things work, some things don't, and you're always progressing forward. And that's what I like about this job, is that you have something new. It's something new every day.
What most people don't know is it's my incredible faith in the Lord that actually has carried me through many of the challenges that we've had with the schools over the years, from things that have happened, from a flood to financial challenges, to even losing my own husband through all of the process, and business partner. The reason we're able to say kids first at the Autism Academy is because I honestly put God first in my own life. Legacy is passion. It's pursuing your passion because it's infectious.
When I think about the legacy of AAED and the Newcomb family, it's really simple. They had a vision, kids first. It's a small, short phrase, but it's really powerful. When you think about it, sometimes putting kids first or putting anybody else first requires you to be uncomfortable, for you to do something challenging, and that's really inspirational. We could each learn from that.
We knew the stresses that you were going through in those beginning times. We knew the risk you were taking, and it's pretty cool to see that we overcame those challenges, and now we're a thriving school for these kids. So.
You believe it and you do everything you can to see it succeed, and like that's been shown for sure through this business.
And that's sometimes where we do find other obstacles, because we have people that come into the organization, or people, some leadership that has come and gone, and really at the end of the day, the biggest thing that they did not share was the true passion for the organization and the true passion for the kids.
You know, the passion from the leadership down, and when there's an issue, just basically being able to state the same thing, where it's not like we have a bunch of different people kind of going rogue, trying to solve a problem. We all have the same mission and passion.
To me, what makes it unique is just seeing these kids grow friendships, seeing these kids enjoy coming to school, seeing them learn, and seeing our staff and teachers happy. It's cool to see the legacy that they left behind, as well as the teachers who are now moving forward in their careers who want to work with children with autism.
Other schools I know have opened and try to emulate, I think, what we started, but it's not, they don't offer and they don't give what we do. It's a really hard way to describe it until you see these families who come in distress because their kids have been through multiple schools, their kids have been homeschooled because they have no other options, and they come in and you just see the sense of relief. I mean, it's pretty cool to see.
When looking to the future, I see nothing but great things for Autism Academy. We are going nationwide.
Just the path we're on, I don't see it ending. I think we're going to be constantly expanding.
One family that has been with us since the very beginning, I will never forget her letting me know after he had been here for probably about 6 months that their family dynamics and the home dynamics had changed. She didn't have to fight to get him dressed in the morning. They didn't have to fight to come to school. But what also was really incredible, that their family life and their home life on the weekend had changed. They were able to go to church as a family. They were able to take their children, and their behavior had changed so drastically, and they could really enjoy each other on the weekends and really have that family connection once again.
To define legacy, I think of it in 2 ways. What's tangible and what is intangible. It's what we leave behind when we're no longer on this earth. So thinking about how we build our legacy, AAED is really inspired to do that, not only for our students, but within our community. We want to pass down important character traits to our students and our staff. We want to leave a mark on our community for the good. We want to leave schools that can help as many kids as possible with autism so they can be successful in life after high school.
They're contributing to the community. So most of the time people think, what can we do for the school? But we've turned it around to what can we as a school and our kids do to help the community. One of our main goals here at Autism Academy is for our kids when they graduate high school to be employable and to be able to go out and find jobs. One thing we're really proud of here at the Autism Academy is we have actually hired some of our graduates to come back and return and work with our students here. It is amazing to see.
Nothing's changed. It's always been kids first. It's always what a students need. It's always how to support and help the most families. And that vision has really allowed us to carry on to opening 3 campuses because we really hold steadfast to kids first and making it the best experience possible.
I knew that it was something that was near and dear to her heart, you know.
I've had the honor of working with great staff and just bringing the mission, the vision out there, being able to educate others on what our mission is, what our vision is for the school.
Yeah, it's a celebration, I think, throughout the year of different things that we do, and recognizing that there are hard days. We say this is a hard job. We don't hide it.
That's the language I hear walking through every campus we have so far, and probably will continue to have, of just, it's not an island, it's not a one-person mentality. If one person could do it, they would have done it. It takes a team of people.
So I think the way that we keep it positive and encouraging at each of the campuses, even dealing with all the challenges that are there and with the kids with autism, is I think we do really well at giving feedback to our employees and supporting them. We just take little things and make them into big things. The legacy of Autism Academy is building a strong foundation where we're putting kids first in every decision and blessing others by providing strong mentorship to staff and families.